Thank you very much for staying here on JoyNews Desk. Before we bring you the main agenda for today, the principal of the Bawku Technical Institute is asking government to, as a matter of urgency, furnish the school with some infrastructure to ease the congestion in the classrooms in the school. Paul Atogebania says the congestion is hampering teaching and learning as students are forced to sometimes skip lessons as there are no seats for them to sit on. Albert Suri has more in this report.
The Bawku Technical Institute, or BTI for short, was established in 1967 by the Roman Catholic Mission. At the time, the aim of establishing the institute was to train mechanics whose job would be the servicing and repairs of the Catholic Mission's vehicles. Therefore, the only course of study that was being offered at the Bawku Technical Institute was automobile engineering technology. The school's population has grown rapidly from 18 students when it first started to a current population of almost 3,000. However, there hasn't been any major increase in infrastructure. This has led to a situation of serious congestion at the dining hall, dormitories, and ICT laboratory.
The size of the dining hall is too small because the number they built it for, the capacity which they targeted and built it for, has changed. The population now is about 2,700, but they formerly planned it for a lesser number of students. So because of that, we find it difficult anytime we are coming for meals to be able to take our meals on time and go back to classes. And also during the warm seasons, the weather inside becomes very hot that the students don't feel comfortable. So we have devised a system of eating in batches. First group will go and eat and come out, and the second group have to go and eat. Now, after the first people have finished, the pantry have to quickly clear the place and organize for the next group of students to come and eat.
The congestion problem extends to the dormitories and classrooms. This building and construction workshop has been converted into a boys' dormitory to cater for some of the students. At the time of our visit, the senior housemaster was supervising renovations on the building.
A house that was created to support the congestions in the various dormitories. We initially had 5 houses, and the congestion was so much. So we had to come and pick the building construction technology workshop to put a temporal workshop, temporal house for them to stay. And the temporal house, you notice that it is highly congested, and we have to put students there because of the dormitory situations. Our students are so many, and some come from far off town, Bawku, and people cannot come from Bawku. You expect them to be day students. So they are boarders, and that is why we have brought them here. The congestion really is not easy.
Despite the challenges, the students here at the Bawku Technical Institute are pushing on in the pursuit of their dreams. Immaculate and Francisca are among very few girls who are pursuing careers in the male-dominated building and construction as well as plumbing fields.
I find it interesting in joining this course because it is a course which, when you offer, we ensure good sanitation and provision of potable water for consumption. From other people's view, they think the course is meant for boys, but I find it interesting because I like the course, and there is a saying that what men can do it better. No one forced me. It was my own interest of joining the course.
Before I came here, my mind was that I wanted to do building construction technology because I want to be an engineer in future. And I encourage most girls that building construction technology is not any hard thing that girls cannot do. Females can do even much better than males.
The instructors here at the Bawku Technical Institute believe they have a mandate to train youth who will eventually create employment for themselves and others upon their graduation from the institute. As the Bawku Technical Institute climaxes the celebration of 50 years of its existence, the principal, staff, and the PTA of the school believe that the school has contributed significantly to producing great human resources for various sectors of Ghana's economy. For JoyNews, Albert Sorry, reporting from Bawku.
Now to the main agenda. His wife, brother and house help were at the point of being burnt on the 9th of June 3. He had a choice to run for his life and leave them to die, but 38-year-old Kasim defied the danger to help all the trapped members of his family to safety. However, in the course of it, he became a victim covered in flames. As Ghana prepares to commemorate the tragedy, Kasim has been speaking to JoyNews Agenda.
The floods had covered the entire road, so I wanted to cross over to the Vienna city end. The situation was better there. On the main road, the floods reached the chest level. I decided to stand at the police station so that when the floods recede, I could cross the road with my wife and my brother. Because the running water was carrying away cars and other items like containers. The floating cars and containers could hurt us if we crossed. Suddenly, my wife drew my attention to the fact that there was fire in the nearby house. It was coming towards us. When I turned, I realized it was serious. The fire was coming towards us indeed. I held the hands of my younger brother and our house help. We had to hurry and cross the road despite the danger. Just when we took a few steps, a big ball of fire landed on my head. I had a bag behind me. It also went up in smoke. Every part of my body began to burn. I became weak. I started fighting to douse the fire around my head. I didn't know where I was. The floods carried me. Later, I found myself around the Odor fitting shop.
And you're left with this today, left with the memories. I'll always think of you and smile and be happy for the time I had you with me. Though we go a separate way,
Well, tomorrow, Saturday, June 3, marks the second anniversary of that tragic incident in which over 150 Ghanaians died in the infamous flood and fire disaster at the then Kwame Nkrumah Circle. The disaster scene since that unforgettable night has been referred to as Ground Zero. Now, as a way to remember the souls that perished, government subsequently for the last 2 years lines up activities to be observed in memory of the departed. Same will be the situation tomorrow. But what exactly are we to expect and possibly be doing as we remember the precious lives that have been snuffed out from amongst us? Joining me in studio for some answers is the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Numu Blafo. Thank you very much for joining us. You're welcome to JoyNews Desk.
Thank you. Thank you,
first, let's talk about what the plan of government, and by government, the AMA, is to remember those whose lives were lost 2 years ago.
Let me greet your cherished viewers, and then let me say, express our deep condolence to the bereaved families and victims of that incident. In fact, it was something that hit us, and there is no way we can forget it. It has become a scar, actually, on the calendar of the AMA. As we're speaking, the AMA, in collaboration with NADMO, are doing a cleanup exercise around the area as we're speaking now. And this evening from 5 p.m. we'll be at the N.S. Bruce Memorial Methodist Church around that area to have a memorial service. From there will be a candlelight procession to the disaster scene, and then tomorrow we'll have another memorial service at the Baptist Calvary Baptist Church opposite Mr. Biggs, and then we'll proceed to the scene again to lay wreath in memory of the fallen brethren.
Let's talk about survivors. It looks as though they are forgotten and remembered every June 3. Tell us how they're doing and whether the AMA is in touch with them all the time, psychologically, emotionally, financially. How are they doing?
What we're doing is that the AMA with government, I would say, because actually the funds had to come from government before the AMA would disperse to the victims and then the bereaved families. Since last year, we've been giving them some, I would say, some token. Actually, that will not solve the problem. It will not bring their loved ones back, and the scars that are left on their bodies, I don't think whatever we're giving them will be able to make them whole again. But something to let them know that, yes, we care for them. There are a few that are left to be sorted out. And yesterday we had to meet with a few of them, that is those who were able to make it, to formally invite them to the event tonight and tomorrow. So we've been in touch with them.
And Numa, I can understand this is a very sad situation, and for you as the PR of the AMA, you kind of have a lot of first-hand information that we don't, but I'd be glad if you could kindly speak up a bit, because we're struggling to hear you. But you mentioned that the survivors are being compensated. What about those who lost relatives? I want to know, are those people also benefiting? For example, if a family lost a father or a mother?
Yes. There was, I think, a gentleman who lost the wife and then the child. So in compensating him, we had to give him that of the child and that of the wife. And in fact, those that we cannot maybe say we can get their relatives, we give them what we had to give them. There were some people that we even had to go to Suhum to go and join them in the burial of their relative and all that. So we've been doing all that. And then those who are alive, the surviving victims, that's why I'm saying that we call them as and when the funds are ready, and then we give them. But there are a few that are left, and as I'm saying,
never been compensated,
who have not been compensated
since
yet.
The incident.
Yes, but we are doing all we can to make sure everyone at least has something, so that there wouldn't be the situation where someone will say he or she has been left out. And what I want to appeal to them, that if you have not been yet given anything, don't despair that you have been forgotten, because we have their telephone numbers. Therefore, we call them occasionally.
All right.
Yeah.
No more. Let's talk about the recommendations. We know a lot of recommendations were made about improving sanitation and the state of the drains in Accra since the disaster. In fact, specifically, one of the recommendations states that there should be a complete dredging of the Odo River. The banning of plastics as carrier bags, water dispensers, and cooked food containers. How well have we done in with this particular recommendation?
For the dredging of the Odo and the Kole Lagoon, it began immediately after the incident. We had engineers and planners who came in to start the dredging. At a point in time, they had to stop, and then we have dredge masters now who are working. Now, for the banning of plastics, I think it is something that had to be from government itself. AMA as an institution cannot unilaterally go ahead to ban, though we have that authority.
But you can push for
we
government.
have that authority to do, but then we need that kind of, I would say, the power or the powers to actually, because...
Okay, but no more, then since this recommendation, what have you done in terms of, because we can't sit and say we are waiting for other stakeholders. As the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, what have you done to make sure these recommendations, with your own power, what have you done to make sure these recommendations have been, met?
Actually, that's what I'm saying, that the dredging is ongoing.
But it's not complete. It's
not complete. After. You see, we have an environment where when it rains, it carries a lot of debris. We have a society who will go and then dump their garbage, everything into water bodies and all. And this Odo Channel and the Kole are water bodies that carry a lot of water from inland. You see, when it rains, say in Aburi, and it doesn't even rain in Accra, most of this rainwater will pass through some streams, and they all end up in the Odo, which actually also empties into the Kole before it goes into the ocean. So every day they come in with so many things.
So are you saying that's the reason we haven't completed dredging of the Odo 2 years after this incident?
That is what I'm saying, that look, it can't be done completely. It has to be an ongoing project because daily there are debris coming in. So you can't say because you've done some, then you are finished. No, it has to be an ongoing project until we can say that, yes, we've even gotten an environment where there are certain, I would say, certain barriers that will even block some of this debris from entering into these channels. Until then the dredging will have to continue.
So, Mr. Blaffer, you're saying that once we have people still throwing plastic waste into gutters and drains and on the sidewalks, the rain pushes it down. Once we don't tackle it from that angle, we cannot complete the dredging.
The dredging cannot be completed. I don't think you are getting me right. The dredging cannot be completed in the sense that daily, anytime it rains, or even as water passes through, they come with debris.
So saying,
even if it is dredged today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, we will have to.
So I'm saying that does it not mean then that we should tackle it from the angle of even preventing the debris from getting into the Odo in the first place?
No, you can't, because it is something that there are streams, number of streams that come into the Odo. You understand?
You can't stop people from dumping the plastic waste into those various streams.
You are only focusing on the plastic, but I'm talking about the environment, because when it rains, it carries a lot of sand and all that, and that's why you can't stop it.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So what I'm just saying is that it has to be a continuous project. It can't be said that because we've dredged today and then we can't see anything, then we are complete.
So what's the progress of dredging in terms of percentage? I
wouldn't say we've gone so far, but we've done some work. And in fact, recently, the Minister for Works and Housing was also saying that we will need about over $600 million to do the dredging and even a comprehensive drainage system that will solve this problem once and for all. So that is something that had been pushed since. And I would say, I think you heard of this project, this ASDAP, that is this company, Conti, that they were coming to do this project. They were in, they couldn't do it, they went back. And now we are back to the same point again, where even the Minister of Works had to come in. So now, until we can get this amount of money to actually do a comprehensive work of the drainage system within the metropolis, you see, let us not also look at this, forget this situation that all these water bodies coming into the Odo are coming from other districts where we as AMA don't have authority there. So it isn't an AMA issue alone. It is also the issue of the other adjoining districts where these water bodies also come from before they enter into the Odo and then finally the Kole Lagoon and then
so
the
how has the AMA tried to factor these people in to work with them? Because you see, it's not only from the AMA, I mean the AMA's catchment area, but what they do in other areas affects those within
we are the receiving end.
Exactly.
Actually.
So then I'm thinking, because we are the receiving end, we should be more proactive towards engaging those other municipal or metropolitan assemblies. Have you done that?
We have engaged them, but all that I'm saying is that, look, until we get that money to comprehensively tackle this issue, there will always be this problem.
All right, now let's talk about decongestion. A few weeks ago, we saw some activity at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and it was a very interesting one in the sense that those who had some of their structures broken down or taken away suggest that they had the AMA had taken money from them to have those structures there. But this issue of decongestion has been politicized sometimes. And what is the Assembly's plan to make everybody realize the importance of decongestion? Yeah,
I understand, but if they say AMA has taken money from them to put their structures there, it's untrue. Because the AMA will not take money from anybody to place a structure, a table or whatever on a pavement. The pavements are meant for pedestrians. As you say, the circle area has been decongested and we want to secure that place. Now, when our personnel, that is the rapid response unit over there, when they close at 5 in the evening, then these traders will come back and encroach on all the pavements again, and then it becomes like there's no pavement at all. So we had to re-strategize to bring people in at night. Last Tuesday, when they were just doing their normal patrol, they chanced upon a lady who has actually set up a chop bar on the pavement with tables and benches for people buying and eating and all that. So they asked the lady to move the things from the pavement. All of a sudden, a gentleman came out from the VIP station to come and tell them that, look, their boss has said that whoever the boss is, I don't know, that they should do anything to any of these task force people who comes there to sack them. When they called their officer, I mean the task force personnel called their officer in to talk to them, a gentleman lifted a bench and hit the officer. In fact, when they were even about to enter their vehicle, leaving them, they started beating them up with cement blocks and all. It was just, I don't know. And look at Monday, we had this incident of the army captain. We had the Somanya issue, and then AMA. So it's like now citizens want to take the authority into their own hands and defy the orders of authority. And I don't think that is the right way we should go. So now we are in collaboration with the police who have sent their personnel there. We are now looking at coming into the CBD. You know, the CBD too is a bit congested. Not a bit, it's seriously congested. But our men are not so many that will spread them all over the place. So we want to secure Circle first before we move right from Circle. We'll move along the roads into the CBD.
And how long do you expect to do this?
Well, I can't give you a timeline, but very soon we will be in action.
So finally, before you go, Numo Blafo, 2 years after this tragic incident, do you think that we are on course to making this a total thing of the past? We wouldn't have such an occurrence again?
Yes, looking at the work that AMA is doing, because we've intensified our, not only the dredging of the Korle and the Odo, but we have other major storm drains that also carry volumes of water. And we've done a lot of work, like this Onyasia stream that passes through Jowulu, around the ex-President Kufuor's area. We've done the dredging there. If you go to the Lafa, we've done it. And even the underground channel that we have under the Kaneshi Malam Road, that one too, we've done a lot of work on it. And looking forward, I am always urging that we need this money quickly so that we can, this issue of flooding in Accra can be a thing of the past.
Thank you very much for your time. Numo Blafo is PRO of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. We had him in studio ahead of tomorrow's commemoration of the June 3 disaster that claimed 150 lives.
slips away.